Have you been staring at those beautiful 100mm Louboutins in your closet and thinking, I wonder if I could handle a 130? In this video, I'm going to help you decide whether or not that upgrade is right for you. Some people may do absolutely amazing in the 130 and find their dream shoe. Other people may try it out and then realize, you know what, I think 100mm is just right for me. Everyone's going to be different. In this video, I'm going to go through the pros and cons for each to help you decide which one is right for you. So let's get started. On your Louboutin journey, at some point, you're going to be tempted to upgrade to the next heel height. It's inevitable, even if you start at a 70mm and you are tempted to go to 85. In this case, we are being tempted to go from the tried and true 100mm up to the tallest shoe out there, the 130. Over 5 inches, unsupported, no cushions, no platform, nothing, just pure height. This is the iconic Louboutin look right here. The back of the shoe, the super tall stiletto, the red bottoms. You can't help it. You will definitely be tempted to upgrade to this heel height. As the stars of the show today, we have the Merci Allen 100 and the Merci Allen 130. These are beautiful, classic, iconic Louboutins. When you think of Christian Louboutin, you think of these shoes. Both of these are going to make you feel absolutely gorgeous, but they are two entirely different ball games altogether. This one you can actually get away with wearing it to the office and surviving the workday. This one, not so much, not so much. This one is just for special occasion or for people who just happen to be unicorns and are able to wear a 130. Both of these shoes, for style, they go with everything, honestly. They look great in jeans, they look great in an evening dress, they look great at a club. They pretty much look great with everything, so I don't think you're gonna have any issues trying to find an outfit that will go with one of these shoes. I have to admit, the 100mm is cute. The 130 is sexy, plain and simple. They're really not the same ball game. This one's just, wow, like this one you will walk in a room, everybody will look, they notice that you're in beautiful heels and you look great. This one, the entire world will just stop. They will freeze and stare at you. It's that much of a difference when you wear these. I mean, that's why we always want to upgrade to the 130. It's just, it looks so amazing, so wow. As far as looks, this one you really have to be uber confident to wear. That's for sure. Just the sheer sexiness alone. I wear 100mm Louboutins every single day to work, so I'm pretty comfortable. I'm pretty confident in high heels specifically, and even I almost wanted to blush when I put these on because they're just so sexy, so beautiful. It's almost shocking, and you do feel a little bit like embarrassed when you put them on if you're not used to that. The other thing I love about the Merci Allen 130 is that it somehow manages to be extremely sexy but extremely classy at the same time. This, to me, reminds me of classic Hollywood, that vintage 1940s pinup type of sexy. If you're looking to do a classic 1940s Betty Page style pinup shoot, this is definitely the shoe for you. You will look amazing. The number one thing that I love about the Merci Allen 130 is that there's actually a hope and a prayer that you will be able to walk in them. A lot of other styles you can't say that about. I've tried on like the Hot Chick 130, and my God, if I'm being honest, every time I see a Hot Chick 130 on like Instagram or TikTok, I don't feel like that many people are actually walking in them. It's usually somebody like sitting on the couch or laying on the bed or something like that. They're just really hard to walk in because it's a short pointed toe box. There's just not a lot of room in there for your foot. But with the Merci Allen having this beautiful rounded pump, there's a little bit more room in there for you to kind of move your feet around and wiggle around and get into a comfortable position. And the fact that the toe box works well for a lot of different types of foot shape. If you want to try a 130 and you want there to be kind of a hope or a prayer that you're going to be able to walk in them, the Merci Allen 130 is the perfect one to start out with. The other thing that I love about the Merci Allen is that, to me, this is the perfect bedroom shoe. This is the perfect bedroom shoe because, first, of course, it has that beautiful, sexy heel height. But most importantly, you can actually stand up in them and take a few steps across the bedroom. To me, that is really important. If you want a legit bedroom shoe, you need to be able to wear it in the bedroom, not just on the bed. That's a bed shoe, like a bedridden shoe. That's not a bedroom shoe. So this, to me, is a great bedroom shoe. I think most people will be able to, at the very minimum, handle that. Handle wearing it around the room, standing up, taking a few steps. That's not the case with a lot of those bedroom shoes out there, like that Hot Chick 130. Nope, 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 nope. A lot of those, you can't even stand up in them, let alone take a few steps across the bedroom. To me, that's pointless. The whole point of a bedroom shoe is to be able to wear it in the bedroom. So worst case, if you try the 130 and you can't wear it out on a date night or just out and about for a couple hours, you should still be able to use it as your, bedroom shoe and at least walk around the room in it. Just as a word of caution, when I first got these, I almost gave up like day one. They were really hard to walk in, and it was so funny because I was trying to practice walking around my house and I thought I was doing good. My youngest daughter actually came up and tried to hold my arm up and help me walk down the hall like I was a little old man. So clearly I was not walking as cool as I thought I was. Just remember that in the beginning it's going to be hard, but I would just give it a little bit of time practicing at home because it is very, very different than walking in the 100. You almost have to forget what it's like to walk in the 100s and just focus on learning how to walk in these because they're so different. So don't give up on them right away. It is definitely doable. These are the one style of 130s that I think is actually possible for most people to figure out how to walk in. A huge portion of this video is going to be me walking around in the shoes and then talking to you about what it's like to walk around in them. We know without a doubt that the biggest factor is going to be what they look like when you wear them, and that's why everybody upgrades to a 130 is because it's just such a dramatic difference. But on top of that, I want you to be able to physically see the differences and how you walk in these shoes because they are two entirely different ball games altogether. I know 30 millimeters doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a lot. You will be so surprised the difference when you try these on. Even though they are technically the same style, just with a different heel height, they don't feel like the same style at all. The other thing you need to consider is that when you wear high heels, you're actually using your calf muscles to walk. Now, I don't work out. I should, but I don't. I'm lazy. I don't work out. But with the 100s, I've gotten used to wearing them. I've worked up enough calf strength where I can wear my 100 millimeters every single day to work. I felt like when I got the 130s, like I was gonna do pretty well because I have that calf strength already in my legs. But reality is that I can only last about 30 minutes in the 130s. No joke, only 30 minutes. By the end of that 30 minutes, my calves are burning, and I mean burning. They hurt so bad. I don't even get it. I'm like, I thought I was good at walking in heels, but no, these are insane. So just be aware of that. If you're going from flats to this, just don't do it. Don't do it. I would buy them, but then work your way up. Practice with the 100 millimeter first, get some of that calf muscle strength going before you step into the 130s. Because you're just going to be so shocked when you take your first couple steps in these shoes. Now, if you're a person that works out all the time, or like a bodybuilder, it honestly may not even affect you. Like I said, I don't work out. I'm really lazy. But if you do, if you work out, it may not even be a big deal because you're already using your calf muscles a lot. It's just for people like me who don't do that. It is quite a shock going into the 130 and walking around, even though I'm so used to the 100s. When you walk in heels, you've got to think of like the space in between the stiletto and the front part of your foot as like your walking space. So that tells me how small or how big of a step I'm gonna have to take to effectively walk in the shoes and not look like a baby giraffe, basically. If you look at these two shoes, there's a lot more space in the 100 from the front of the shoe than there is from the 130 up to even the front of the shoe. With the 130, since it's just such a smaller space, that means you have to take significantly smaller steps to be able to effectively walk in the shoe. That is one thing you need to consider. For me, I'm used to walking in the 100 millimeters at work, and I can almost get to a normal pace now. But with the 130, it's really hard because it feels like it's like half the amount of the 100. So when you're walking in them, you're taking half steps as compared to the 100. This one I may be able to do like 2 steps across the screen, and this one would be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like it's hard to get used to, is taking those little baby steps. To me, it feels like you're almost like a geisha, you know, with the beautiful Japanese women with those tight dresses and those super high crazy shoes, and they kind of have to like shuffle. That's what it reminds me of. I feel like I'm shuffling more than anything when I'm wearing these shoes versus the 100. The other thing you need to think of is your weight distribution on the shoe. With the 100, you do have some of your weight, a good chunk of your weight, still settled over the back of the shoe, so over your heel. And then it's a steep incline, but it's not that bad. You have a little bit of weight distributed here, and then you have some on the front part of your foot. I feel like your weight is relatively evenly distributed over the entire shoe. With the 130s, it's basically a ramp going downhill, so you hardly have any weight over your heel. Just basically like that much space can handle weight on the heel, if that makes sense. It's sort of hard to describe, but with there being that ramp, you hardly have any weight distributed on the heel. And then this is almost straight down, almost. You can see right there, it's like almost straight down. So you're really not going to be able to have any weight distributed over the middle of the shoe. That means most of your weight is gonna be up here. It's gonna be on the ball of your feet and your toes. So it really does feel like a ballerina pose almost. I'm sure there's probably, you know, worse shoes out there, but it does. It feels like a ballerina pose. So again, the ball of your foot is gonna get the bulk of the weight, and then the toes are gonna get a good chunk of it as well. And that is another reason why it's so much better to get this rounded toe box, because there's a little bit more room for your toes to spread out and distribute that weight, versus the Hot Chick 130 where your toes are like scrunched in and a pointed little, you know, toe box, and then it's just almost impossible to distribute that weight evenly, which is another reason why most people can't walk in them. So yeah, you're gonna have a lot of that weight distributed up here in the front part of your foot. When you're taking a step, you know, you got your heel, you put your heel down, and then you kind of lean forward and let your weight fall forward over the front part of your foot. You can take bigger steps and still kind of like throw your weight evenly. With this one, you, like I said, you have to take smaller steps, and so you'll put that heel down, and it's a very short period before your foot slams on the ground. And what happens is that if you take too big of a step, it can almost throw your weight forward, and that's how people nosedive when they're in these shoes, is they're not taking small enough steps, and so they'll just try to take a huge step, and instead of like coming down here and going like that, they're going like at that angle, and then they boop. Hope that makes sense. But it is, it's like you can definitely, like, if you take too big of a step or you're not careful about it, you can just basically roll. You know, you can throw your body weight this way and it'll roll past the front part of your shoe. You're not going to be able to hold that weight evenly, and then you're just going to fall forward. So that's another thing you got to consider. On top of that, just remember too that your ankle is at more of a stiff position, so there's not as much room for flexibility. So you can't wobble as much without falling. This one, there's still a lot of flexibility in the heel, so if you're kind of like moving your weight around or you almost feel like you're gonna fall, you can usually catch yourself with your ankle, but not with this one. It's just so stiff, your ankle, when you're in it, that you really do feel like a baby giraffe about ready to fall over. It's gonna happen. Watch one of those baby giraffe videos. This is what you're gonna feel like if you're not being careful. Now, looking at this toe box, I really want you to take note of this shape. This Toebox to me is the perfect rounded toe because it's kind of a cross between a pointed toe and a round toe. So for example, this is a round toe. This is the Fifele. The Fifele looks a lot more round than the Merci Allen. And honestly, it looks kind of fat when you see it compared to the Merci Allen. It's just so rounded up here, where the Merci Allen is thinner up here. I love that because it gives the Merci Allen a daintier look. Looking at the Merci Allen compared to a pointed toe, I think you can see better why I think the Merci Allen is sort of a cross between a pointed toe and a round toe, because the pointed toe, of course, it comes in narrow on the sides, just like this one does right here, but then it's got that pointed toe at the top, whereas the Merci Allen just sort of cuts that pointed toe off and it curves instead. And that's why I say the Merci Allen is the perfect round toe, because it is sort of a cross between the pointed toe and the round toe pumps. Sizing is a bit of a challenge when you're going from 100 up to 120, 130. If I wanted to feel comfortable when I first put them on, I should have gone a half size up. But if I want to wear these for a long time, I actually should have gone a half size down. Normally when you go up in heel height, you can actually at some point go down a half size because your feet are kind of getting pushed forward by gravity and they're breaking in further into the shoe. You would think with the 130, you would really want to go down a half size. The issue is that with this break being a lot harsher, it actually feels like there's a little bit less room in the toe box for the front part of your feet. I struggle with this all the time because when I get shoes that are higher than 100mm, when I first put them on, it feels more comfortable to have a bigger size because I just want that extra room, that extra length in the toe box. But if you wear them a lot and you break them in, they're gonna end up being way too big. 9 times out of 10, I would say just keep the size that you are with the 100mm in the 130 just to be safe. You don't want to go up and then not be able to wear the shoes because they're too big. But you don't want to go down because you may not be able to actually get your foot in the shoe. I would probably recommend keeping with the same size because that's most likely going to be the one that's going to fit the best. But again, it is dependent on your foot shape and a lot of other factors as well. But that's what I ended up doing for me, was just keeping the same size that I have in my 100mm patent. If you're measuring the toe box from the bottom, the Merci Allen is about 80mm wide. What this means is that this is a great shoe for almost any type of foot. What I found is that most Louboutin pumps, with the exception of the Kates and some of those other styles that are specifically for narrow feet, most of them end up being around 80mm. There are some that are wider, but I think the average is 80mm, and that's a really good width for narrow feet, regular or wide. It might not work if you have extra wide feet. That's the only foot shape that I would say might have an issue. I don't know if you'd be able to wear this shoe. I really love that about these shoes is that they kind of work for almost anyone. If you have narrow feet, they're not going to be so wide where you won't be able to wear them, because that's an issue for people with narrow feet a lot of times, is that shoes may be too wide and then their feet might slip out of them. But that's not the case with this one. This is actually still a good width for people with narrow feet. It's definitely, of course, good for people with average width feet. And then if you have wide feet like myself, this is still a good width for you as well. For reference, my widest foot, because I have 2 different shaped feet, my widest foot is 97mm, and I'm still able to wear these shoes. So if you are 97mm or below in width, I think you will do okay with these shoes. If you're above that, I'm not quite sure. I don't know at what point it would just be too narrow of a shoe. Now for price point, the Merci Allen 100 is definitely significantly more affordable. You can go to the store and get the dolly and basically have the same shoe. So if that's what you want to do, if you want a brand new one, you can go buy a brand new one for I don't remember exactly how much. I think they're like 800 or something, but you can go to the store and you can buy a brand new one. If you buy the Merci Allen 100, it's actually pretty affordable pre-loved. You can get them for like $250, which is a really good price for pre-loved, because a lot of the shoes will go between like $400 and $800. So getting a shoe like this for $250 is a really good deal. You may pay more. You could pay $350 or $400, but ultimately you're not going to have to spend thousands of dollars if you want the Merci Allen 100. The 130, on the other hand, is a little bit different. If you want a brand new Merci Allen, you do have to custom order them, whether or not it's a 100 or a 130. But Merci Allen 130s are almost impossible to find pre-loved. What that means is that you will have to do a custom order to get one, and these are a very high value item because they are the most walkable 130mm that Louboutin has to offer. On top of the fact that more people are going to be comfortable wearing them because they are sexy and classy at the same time. The last time I talked to a sales associate who is able to do these custom orders, I don't remember if they call them custom or special, but long story short is if you want to order a Merci Allen specifically from Louboutin right now, in order to qualify to order that style, you have to spend $20,000 in the past year at Louboutin. And that only gets you in the door to qualify. Then once you spent that much money, you can order the Merci Allen 130. And I think the starting point was like $2,300 for basically this shoe, you know, with the black patent, just the regular Merci Allen 130. And of course, it just goes up from there depending on what type of material you want. If you want a strass or something like that, you want a special sort of insole, you want your name engraved, whatever it is. So it starts at $2,300. So basically, you have to spend $22,300 minimum to get this shoe right now. I know, that's crazy, right? Crazy! Crazy! It has always been a dream of mine to have a Merci Allen 130 in my collection. Fortunately, I did not have to special order one because that would have been ridiculous. That would be as much as my car. I was so freaking lucky. I found these through the Highest Heel shop. And if you haven't heard of her, you have to go check out her Instagram and TikTok now. I will put a link in the description so you can find it. She is the ultimate expert at finding rare Louboutins like this. She's been doing it for years. I'm pretty sure she is a walking encyclopedia of every rare vintage style that Louboutin has ever made. She's amazing. But she specializes in finding these rare shoes like this. If you're looking for this shoe, or if you're looking for another style that you're just having a hard time finding, ask her, because no matter what the shoe, no matter how rare, more than likely she already has it. If not, she will get it. She will find it somehow. I don't know how she does it, but she always finds these amazing rare styles. So go check her out and see if she can help you find your dream shoe, because she did with me. I'm actually dying to see what you guys pick. So let me know, are you team 100 or team 130? I have to admit, I'm probably going to throw my vote for 100 because I love my 130s, but I just can't do them for date night. I might be more of a 120 girl, I'm not sure yet, so I may change my mind later on, but for right now, I'm going for team 100. So let me know in the comments, team 100 or team 130?